I fired the shot and it hit the bull, and I instantly just started shaking. I was just like, best way I can describe it, I was just going crazy. I'm pretty sure that made it in the video. This is way bigger than any whitetail I shot back at home. So we probably waited around that 20 to 30 minutes, and we start walking up to it. We're about 10 yards away, and all of a sudden that bull's head just picks up, it stands up, and I'm staring right at it, and I'm like, all right, you're big.
Welcome to Wildlife Outdoors with your host, Russell and Jose. If you have a passion for conservation of the outdoors, or you're enjoying a calming hike in the mountains, an exhilarating kayak trip on the river, feeling a fish on the end of your line, cooking on an open flame in a primitive campsite, or stalking big game, just waiting for the perfect shot, you're in the right place. So put on your boots and polarized sunglasses and come along for the ride.
Welcome back to another episode of Wildlife Outdoors. I'm Russell, and today we're joined by the guys behind an incredible Alaskan elk hunt that a lot of you may have already seen. This was a remote island hunt that tested preparation, endurance, and decision-making in real time. We're going to talk through the logistics, what went right, and what went wrong. This conversation goes beyond the highlight reel, though. We dig into the meat care, ethics, risk management, and what it actually takes to hunt responsibly in places where mistakes carry real consequences. Before we get into the hunt, can y'all introduce yourselves?
So my name's Chase Parker. I'm from the northern Minnesota area, just south of Duluth here a little bit. I'm an electrician by trade and do as much hunting and fishing in the fall as I can.
I'm Isaiah Johnson. I'm from northern Minnesota, about 12 minutes away from Chase. I'm a deputy sheriff for the state of Wisconsin. I get as much hunting and fishing in as I can. I enjoy the Big Lake Superior and whitetail hunting.
Awesome. And I'm Lucas McLeod. I'm from Minnesota originally. I've lived in Alaska for the last 7 years. I, along with my wife and a couple of friends, operate a lodge called Bear Cove Retreat. So I'm on the water all summer, and I try to get out into the woods and on the mountains all fall.
That's awesome. Well, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have y'all on. Myself, a little background about me is I didn't grow up hunting. I didn't really grow up doing much outdoors, but I'm like a late onset hunter, as I like to say. And so I've started trying to pick up a hunt in the past couple of years, and all self-taught, mainly public land archery. Have yet to harvest big game animal, but it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. It's just been tough. But, really like fly fishing, and that's kind of what got me into the outdoors and got me started in this podcast with my co-host Jose, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it. And so I don't know too much about the ins and outs of hunting in the backcountry. Definitely don't know much about hunting in Alaska, even though I'm from there originally. I don't know too much about it. So, I kind of want to dig into the whole hunt, how it came about, how it got started, and all of that. For the people that don't know, the listeners that haven't seen it, it is a record hunt, like a record harvest, isn't it? Or has that been confirmed yet?
We're still waiting to hear back from Boone and Crockett. They said that the guy who did my measurements, he said that right now Boone and Crockett is roughly 6 to 8 weeks behind because obviously in the fall, everyone's adding in their entries. But he says that as of right now, you're beating that Alaska #1 record elk. Because the previous, or the current current record elk measured out at 291 and 5/8, where now mine is at 313 and 5/8.
Wow! So not only just beat it, but I mean,
beat it by a good 20.
Crushed it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing. So, how did the hunt even come about? Was it a drawn hunt, or how did that even start?
Yeah. So I've got property out on Afognak Island, and the previous year, so for 2024, I put in for some hunts. I got drawn for a mountain goat, and so did my son-in-law. We did it. We had a great time. We harvested a mountain goat. So for the following year, I actually reached out to several friends, family members, and said, "Hey, here's the hunts I'm going to do. Put in for them. If you get drawn and I don't get drawn, I'll be there with you because I'm going to be out there. I'll help you. I got the boat, I got the property, and I'll make sure it works out." So I reached out to Isaiah because I knew he was excited about coming up to hunt. I gave him, here's some ideas on where to put in for draws where I can help you out. And he decided to put in, and then he said, "Hey, I got a friend." And so that's when Chase got brought in. So Isaiah, why don't you take it from there?
Yeah, my uncle, like he said, he gave me a call and he's like, hey, here's what I'm putting in for. And look, I'd see him at family function stuff and be like picking his brain, kind of like, hey, what's going on up there with it? And he reached out and I'm like, well, let's do it. I'm like, who's somebody I would want to hunt with? I'm like, it's my best buddy Chase here. Let's gave him a call. I don't remember the exact date of what I called him, and I'm like, hey, let's put in for these hunts or whatever. Let's get up there and do some Alaskan hunting with my uncle or whatnot. And
that was December
12th. What was it?
That was December 12th.
December 12th. I think we had like 1-2 days until the
Wow.
dropping.
Yeah, time was running out.
Yeah. Last minute.
Very last minute.
Yeah, we both put in, and Chase, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, when Isaiah called me, it's kind of funny because the night before I was out celebrating with my sister for her 21st birthday. So I was kind of sleeping in from the night before, and all of a sudden I wake up to a call from Isaiah, and he's like, hey, let's put in for this Alaska elk tag. I'm like, all right, you're going to at least give me an hour. I'll call you back. I call him back. I'm like, was that a fever dream, or did you just ask me to apply for an Alaskan elk tag? He's like, nope, let's do it. You're applying. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll figure this out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what all did y'all put in? Y'all only put in for elk, or did y'all put in for other tags as well?
Yes, sir. Well, me and Isaiah, we only put in for elk. And Lucas, being the Alaska resident, I'm pretty sure he put in for more.
Yeah, I put in for a pile of stuff, but I actually didn't get drawn for anything. So
Really?
I think I put in for mountain goat, I put in for Kodiak bear, I put in for the elk hunt, and I think I put in for one obscure moose hunt too that had pretty low odds. But I didn't get drawn for anything, but I was pretty excited once I got the news from these guys.
Yeah,
That's
because didn't you
freaking
say you had a
awesome.
total of 10 guys apply for this tag?
Yeah, 10 of us applied for it, and Chase ended up being the only one that was drawn.
And mind
That's
you,
crazy.
when Chase and I put in for this, we've never done big game hunting, so we have none of the stuff.
Yeah, most we've done is just whitetail hunting in Minnesota. And I've
Wow.
talked about it, and I've kind of started doing some planning and buying points in western states to start chasing elk, mule deer, the bigger game type of animals. And then when Isaiah gave me the call, I was like, all right, I guess let's put in for it. And then when the draw results came out on February 21st, I was like, all right, we're going to have to do a lot more research and spend a little bit more money.
Right. Damn. So how did you prepare for it?
Well, for me, being up here in Minnesota, we got a lot of, it's not really hills or cliffs. It's just, we got a bunch of just short, maybe 100-yard drops down to the ravine here. And so what I did is I put a couple sandbags on my back and I just started hiking those hills. But then I learned being out there, that was not enough.
Hey, at least the thought was there. The thought was there. At least you tried to prepare
I
physically.
tried something.
That's awesome. Did you have to go out and buy a new rifle and all sorts of stuff like that too?
Yeah, I figured, I was like, well, if I'm going to Alaska, I might as well buy a new rifle for it. Like, the only thing I had for Minnesota was my 270. I'm like, if I'm gonna need to shoot far and something that's 3 times as big as a whitetail, I might as well up the antes a little bit.
Right. What'd you end up getting?
I got a Seekins Precisions 7mm PRC.
Nice. So watching through the video, it seemed like y'all were pretty prepared in terms of knowing where you're going and stuff. Is that all where you came in, Lucas? Did you kind of have a plan on where y'all were going to go and how y'all were going to go about the hunt?
Yeah, we did a lot of collaboration on that front. So where we actually did the hunt was on Afognak Island, which is probably 10-12 miles away from our camp on Kodiak Island. And I'd actually been out on Afognak. I've done some hunting out there before, so I had a pretty good idea of the terrain. Where Chase was actually drawn for, I'd never been on that part of the island specifically. So that's kind of when it turned into this, okay, I'll tell you guys a little bit about the terrain, what to watch out for, what is good terrain to kind of work through, what is absolutely brutal. And then they just started eating it up on onyx and spending a lot of time, just poring over it. So I'll turn it over to them to kind of cover that aspect of it. But I gave them a few pointers and then they ran with it.
Yeah, so I looked a lot into where I was like, let's figure it out. Looking at onyx, took my girlfriend's iPad, which she wasn't thrilled about. I needed a bigger screen to look at it, and we go through it. And I'm like, hey, this lake right here, I really, really like this. We can drop here, go up to this saddle. We can set up camp on that saddle. And I'm still thinking in Minnesota whitetail hunting, and Chase and I had been collaborating all about it, and we got this dead set plan on how we're going to do it. And we bring it to Luke, and Luke's like, you guys have no idea that you are underestimating all of Afognak Island. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, that's going to take a day and a half to get up to that spot where you guys are talking. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. Well, we originally stuck with the lake that we were like, let's just do it here. And luckily our pilot, Willie, he was like, oh yeah, I know this area all too well. Puts us in a spot. That's when it kind of set in, like, yeah, he was not getting it. This is quite brutal. We're not making that hike in like an hour and a half. And wasn't one of the original options, Chase? Wasn't it you and I fly in, and then Luke takes the boat around and puts it at one of the bays, and you and I hike to the side to go down and get all the stuff?
Yeah, that's what when Lucas told us about getting in there, he's like, yeah, you guys get the Kodiak here. We're going to take my boat, and we're actually once you guys figure out the area, it's kind of because didn't you say you had to have a spot that was kind of out of the wind that didn't really mess with the tides too much, so you could anchor your boat, and we were gonna hike up. And if we would have did that, we would have been hiking for at least 2 days.
Wow, that's insane. The terrain is probably way different than what you're expecting.
Yeah, when I was training, I tried walking through just popple saplings up here after just when they just log a forest, and tried to brush my way through it. The heavy pack on, getting onto on Afognak, it was way worse.
And then I can't even imagine
the different marshes. Oh, I thought it looked really good. Luke's like, no, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
So, and still talking on preparation, like you said, y'all have only ever hunted whitetail before. So how did you kind of get in the mindset to hunt a different animal? I mean, I'm sure it's probably very similar, but two completely different animals. And I'm sure that there was a little bit of a difference in trying to prepare for that.
Yeah, me personally, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and I just watched as much YouTube videos as I could. I went and picked up a couple elk diaphragm calls and a bugle tube, and I was like, all right, just like everyone else nowadays, let's YouTube it.
Yeah.
On my long drives to work, I'd just be sitting in the car, just blowing on that tube and just calling off the diaphragms. I'm pretty sure the guys driving by me were like, what the hell is that guy doing?
Baby, you ain't gonna believe what I saw on the highway today. This guy in the car next to me.
Some weird noises coming from that guy's car.
I'm pretty confident, Chase. Between Chase and I, we've watched every single Afognak Island Roosevelt elk hunt and listened to every podcast.
I didn't even know much about Afognak Island until I was listening to Meat Eater, and of course the Meat Tree episode. Did y'all?
Yeah.
I'm assuming y'all have listened to that.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a few times.
Did that put any fears in your mind?
I mean, because that was the video or the podcast where they talked about the guys. There were 6 of them. They're hunting elk on Afognak, and they're all taking a break for lunch, and all of a sudden a brown bear charges them. Right? Yeah, that made me. I was a little nervous. Well, you go from Minnesota here. The only thing you really have to worry about is a black bear, and those things, if they see you, they're gone anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I underestimated them. I treated them like normal black bears.
Yeah, whole other beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time I ever saw one up there, I believe we were on our way to my aunt's house in Wasilla from Fairbanks, and we saw some, and I was just in awe by the size of them. I mean, they're
Mhm.
just, and at that time I'd never seen a bear in the first place. And so that was the first bears I'd ever seen were big brown bears up in Alaska. And then when I moved to Arkansas, I was driving to one of my systems and I saw this animal crossing the road and I was like, man, it's a weird looking dog. What kind of dog is that? You know, and I come up close to it, it was a black bear. It was nothing compared to what I was expecting of any type of bear to be, just because the first bear I ever saw were brown bears up there. So getting past the preparation part, now you guys are on the island and you kind of have a little bit of a plan of what's going on. What do you think was the hardest part logistically of getting all of that figured out and where you're going to go and trying to figure out basically the details of the hunt once you're actually there?
Yeah, I would say that we sort of lucked out because we ended up using my neighbor on Kodiak Island, a guy by the name of Willie Fulton, and he was the bush pilot that we used. So I've known Willie for a couple of years, gotten to know him just because we live in the same bay on Kodiak Island. And so he brought us in and he had a good, pretty good feel for the landscape that we were going into. And on the way in, we happened to see a small herd of elk. So we see 5 elk, we see a bull, a few cows and a calf. And then we drop in on the lake, we get dropped off. And we were pretty lucky because at least then we had a starting point. Like, hey, we know there's a herd of elk over there. We know where we're at. We know what it's going to take to get to them in terms of the terrain, and it's reasonable. So we decided, hey, let's just go for a hike. We couldn't hunt that day because you can't hunt the same day you fly. But we knew we could at least figure out the terrain to get there, see what that was like, and then come up for a game plan for the next day. So I don't know, Chase, maybe you want to talk about the hike we did that night and what we learned, and then how we started the next day.
Yeah, it was well, once we landed, we kind of just basically we set up camp and we're like, okay, we're going for a hike. We're going to see if we can find those 5 elk that we see on the flight in. And then, like I said, doing the training here completely underestimated that because I was pretty gassed getting up there.
How far of a hike was it?
Well, the elevation we started at was what, Lucas? 290 feet?
293.
Yeah.
And then we got up to, what was it, around 1,000, 1,100?
1,000 feet. Yeah. 1,000 feet that night.
The distance was what, around 3 miles, I think, right?
3 miles. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
quite
we did
the
that
elevation
in-
change.
Yeah. And we did that in, what was it, a matter of 4 hours?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you got to pick your spots and avoid the swamps. You got to get through the alder, the Devil's Club, all those sorts of things. So for us, it was mostly just scouting because after we kind of made that initial trip, we thought, you know what, let's head out in the morning. Let's get up early. Let's try to get as close as we can in the dark, and then we can get on the peak and try to get some glass on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is that how it ended up playing out?
Yeah. So once we did that pre-hike in, we got up to a kind of, because the elk were obviously a little bit farther up than the distance that we got up there, and we're kind of just testing the waters. And I was doing a couple cow elk calls around that 1,000, 1,100 feet elevation once we got up there. And that's when we thought we heard of, or we're pretty sure we heard a cow call response back to us. So okay, they must be up here. It's getting close to dark. We got about 2 hours. Let's just make our way back down to camp, eat some food, hydrate, and get some sleep. And Lucas and Isaiah were like, let's get up at 6 in the morning and start hiking. And that was 2.5 hours before sunrise even.
Man, that's awesome. So how was the night? Were y'all able to sleep? I don't think I'd be able to sleep knowing that I've actually seen what I thought I was going to be going for the next morning. I don't know if I get a blink of sleep.
Chase, how was the night?
Yeah, it was a good night. I woke up at around 2 in the morning, and because we set up a bear fence around our camp, and I'm hearing something. I'm like, what the hell is that? It's just like, just like something just growling. I'm like, okay, something's outside the tent, and I shared a tent with Isaiah, and Lucas had his own tent, and I'm shaking the crap out of Isaiah. I'm like, wake up. I'm on the fence side. You got to come freaky. He finally wakes up and he's like, huh, what is it? I'm like, I think I hear a bear outside the tent. And all of a sudden he goes from sleepy just to the, what? He's wide alert. As soon as he wakes up, I'm like, here's my headlamp. Here's my pistol. Look outside the tent, please. he starts panning outside the tent, and he's just like looks around this all quick, and he's like comes back in. Chase, that's Lucas snoring. I was like, that makes me feel so much better.
We had a bear of our own, scaring him off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All the other ones are like, oh, he's already staked his claim. We're not going over there.
Yeah. He sounds big. He sounds big and angry. So,
So what I saw on the video that you guys set up a bear fence. What exactly is a bear fence?
so the bear, you basically, you take, you put up 4 posts, and then you put up 2 conductors, you run those around, and you use, I think they're D-cell batteries, 2 D-cell batteries, and you connect them to those 2 conductors. And I can't remember how many volts it is, but it's enough volts to make you think twice about touching it again. So basically, you got 2 live wires going around your camp, and
Okay.
so it's a pretty common setup for folks that are backcountry camping up around Kodiak Archipelago, or even up where you're from, up around Fairbanks too. Pretty common
Yeah.
setup.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I saw you setting it up or talking about it in the video, and I was like, yeah, I wonder if that's just like a basic electric fence. So yeah, that breaks it down for me.
It is. It is. Yeah.
That's awesome. So okay, so y'all slept. Y'all thought y'all had a bear incident. Y'all didn't. Well, you had a bear of your own, bear on your side.
Mhm.
You get
Yep.
up. Did y'all end up getting up at 6 and hiking like y'all thought?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I don't know if it was hiking. It was more like wandering.
Hold on here. So they both have in reaches, right? They had our previous night's trek marked on where they were going to go. So they both got them attached to their packs or whatnot, and they're like, "Hey, Isaiah, you're gonna lead the way up here. Like, just go that way." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good enough." They let me wander through the darkness of the woods with nothing to guide on which direction we're going. It's pitch black out here. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. So when they go to the part of the video where what was it? Chase was on a knee and Luke was sitting there, and they're like, "Yeah, we wandered through the woods or whatever." Doesn't show it, but they were mad at me.
Well, the funny part too is only 2 of us had headlamps.
I had hiking
I did.
sticks.
That sounds like it sounds like it added some excitement though. Like at least you could laugh about it now. Like nobody died, right?
Yeah, we're
No,
all
it was
sitting
fine.
back
It was fine.
we're all sitting back at home.
Right. So was there any part of the trip where y'all thinking like, man, this isn't gonna happen? Like we're not gonna be able to have any success in this hunt?
Well, not really, because it was opening day. It all kind of just happened opening day, so our ambitions were still high, and we're just hiking around. We're like, okay, maybe our first day we're not gonna see anything. So we're kind of thinking, let's finish out the day and see what tomorrow brings. But obviously, we didn't really make it till tomorrow.
Oh, so you actually harvested on opening day?
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that when I was watching the video. I was thinking it was like day 2 or day 3 or something. How many days did you
No.
plan to be out there?
I think we originally planned for 12 is what we were planning on staying up there for, but then with Willie, he wanted to, what was it, 2 or 3 days before we were leaving back, he wanted to pick us up. We'd be out there a total of 9 or 10 days.
I
Yeah,
see.
because
Yeah.
we originally had planned out that because our flight, we flew in on the 5th, and then we were flying out on the 17th, I believe.
Yeah.
So we were fully prepared to stay out there those full days. Like we wanted to have Willie drop us off on the 6th on Afognak, so we can kind of get 2 days of scouting and kind of just getting the lay of the land, figuring stuff out. But because of weather, that got delayed till the 7th, so we didn't fly until the 7th, and then. It was funny. Willie dropping us off. He's like, "So when do you guys plan on heading back home? When's your flight?" This time on the 17th. He's like, "All right, I'll pick you guys up on the 15th or the 16th then." All right.
Yeah.
Man, that's insane. Opening day. So you woke up, you hiked in. Did you? So like, I've talked to a few people that go to Colorado to elk hunt and stuff like that, and from what I've heard is if you're hunting bull elk, typically you want to be in a higher elevation when you're gonna bugle at them because it makes them want to come up because they're being challenged. Is that kind of what y'all had to do out there as well?
Yeah, we basically did the same thing. So we know where those 5 elk were when we first flew in. So what we decided to do, just based on the thermals too, we wanted to get up above them because the thermals were going to be coming up by the time we got up there. So we pushed all the way to the point where we had hiked the night before. It got about light at it right about that time. And then we made, the rest of the ascent. I want to say we got up to about 1,600 feet in elevation. And we knew we were on top of them. But unfortunately, the thermals were like no factor. The wind was basically just howling at our backs, and it was just blowing our scent down the entire valley. Everything we were looking over, our scent was just getting blown over. So we spent, what would you guys say, maybe 2 hours kind of just glassing and bugling in that area before we decided this ain't going to work. Anything that we could draw in is probably already blown out of here.
Yeah.
And frankly, we're not going to get any closer. So we gave it a couple hours, I'd say.
And definitely trying to find water too, because we all ran out.
Yeah.
I had this like little life straw that's all we had, and we're looking like, where's some water around here? Can't find none of it. But I will say we would have had enough water if Lucas didn't take us up the incline of death. So Chase and I were doing just fine most of the way. And then this last part to make it right up to where we wanted to be, it went from like, let's say about like this to we were going up something like this. And I think he's part mountain goat, to be completely honest with you. He's just flying up this thing, and Chase and I are falling behind. We're like, how is he doing this? Like, what is going on? So we're exhausted by the time we get to this glassing spot. All of our water's gone, and we're getting up there. We're like, we have no water for breakfast.
Damn, that's a tough spot to be in. And then of course, the higher that you go, the possibility of finding water is getting less and less and less unless you find a small alpine lake or something. And that's rough.
Yeah, we got lucky. There was actually a spring or two that were up there, and we saw the spring. We packed my jet boil with so we can make our dehydrated breakfast when we got up there, because that was going to be our reward in the morning. Was once we get up there, then we can finally eat our breakfast. And around those little springs, there was a lot of elk tracks, a lot of elk poop, and we're like, okay, this actually might really turn out for us.
That's awesome. So y'all glassed and bugled for a couple hours, knew that nothing was going to happen. So then you call it audible, and do you just go to the other side of the ridge, or what was your plan after that?
Yeah, there was a bit of a saddle there. So there are a couple of peaks in the saddle, and we were kind of sitting on the side of the saddle where we had seen those elk. So we just made the call, hey, let's shoot right through this saddle. We'll get onto the other side. We'll get the wind in our face, and then we'll glass that area and hope we can get our eyes on something or call something, and get a response. So that was the move that we were going to make, and we headed out.
Now I'd like to tell you about a couple of our sponsors. First, we have Bucked Up. When you're out in the wild, whether you're stalking a trophy buck, casting for that elusive bass, or trekking through rugged terrain, you need more than just grit. You need fuel that matches your passion for the outdoors. That's where Bucked Up energy drinks and supplements come in. Crafted for those who live life on the edge, Bucked Up offers a range of products designed to enhance your performance, endurance, and recovery. From the early morning hunts to the late night fishing trips, Bucked Up has your back. Use promo code WLO20 at checkout to receive 20% off your order. Explore their full range of products by clicking on the link in the description. Next, we have Foretold Coffee Company. Start your adventure with a brew as bold as the journey ahead. Foretold Coffee Company crafts ethically sourced small batch roast for those who find peace in the wild. Founded by Army veteran Joshua Sandoval, each cup reflects resilience, exploration, and the spirit of the outdoors. Whether it's the light Peruvian cocoa, the medium El Salvadoran bourbon, or the dark Mexican honey, each cup is perfect for the base camp mornings or fireside evenings. Subscribe to their monthly coffee club for 10% off and stay fueled for every expedition. To learn more, visit foretoldcoffeeco.com. From that point to the point where you realize you're within 50 yards of the elk, what was the time change, between those two events?
Are you talking about bear?
Oh, I forgot y'all did see a bear, didn't y'all? And then it was looking at y'all too.
Yeah,
we had a close encounter there. in the saddle. So we didn't quite make it through the saddle, and we ran into a friend there. I can't remember where Isaiah was, or he was behind us, Chase.
Yeah, because
I went up around the side. I went farther down the mountain to get up higher.
That's right.
Naked glass. And
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
I didn't see you guys for like 20 minutes. So I was like, well, I should probably make my way back.
well, that's when
Yeah.
me and Lucas were talking that we're gonna go on the other peak to kind of glass over there and send out a few bugles. Like Isaiah was saying, after following the mountain, going up the hill, I'm like, I'm gonna get myself a little bit of a head start, even though it's all flat. And we start walking down that little valley or whatever you want to call it, and I'm way in front of Lucas, and Lucas is kind of waiting for Isaiah, and I get down there, and I'm like, before I get to the wide open, because it's like, okay, I kind of got a weird feeling here. I'm just gonna wait for Lucas and Isaiah to come up, and that's when Lucas comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get a little overhead look and see if there's any elk down there before you kind of walk in there and maybe bust some stuff out." All right, sounds good. And he walks over, disappears, and then instantly comes running back to me. And I'm like, okay, is elk? He's like, bear. And I'm like, what the heck? I throw my pack off, I unclip my rifle, and I'm standing there like, how close is it? He's like, oh, it's like 50, 75 yards. I'm like, huh?
Man, I bet your heart was just racing at that point.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, if you went to stop, you would have walked right into him. I was like, oh, nice. There we go.
Did you have that like sixth sense that something was watching you or something?
I don't know if it was that or just more like I don't see anybody else, and I'm on a bear-infested island. I think I'm going to wait till I see someone.
Yeah. Sounds like you made a smart choice.
Yeah.
How big do you think the bear was?
8.5. Luke?
I think it was about an 8.5 footer. I see quite a few bear out there. I would guess 8.5. So it was a good sized boar, not like a trophy, but that thing was round. I mean, its belly was almost dragging on the ground. So it had fed on a lot of salmon, without a doubt. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Because we all got to see it. And then so it split off into two parts, and then the saddle went down where he ran.
Mm-hmm.
Chase and Luke were going to go over here. I was going to go over here to try to get a higher elevation spot because I had the big spotting glass. So I'm like, I'm going to try to get up here so I can get a different angle, see if you guys can do this. So Chase and Luke are still talking in their same area. Well, you can see in the video that this bear runs down the mountain. I go around this thing and it's standing there like 20 yards away. So somehow it went all the way down, came back around. Then as soon as him and I made eye contact, it starts blowing. And have you heard them blow? It's like a whitetail just going crazy. And I'm like, oh my. It somehow climbs up a rock. You ever seen Captain Jack Sparrow run? That's how I feel like I was sprinting back towards Luke and Chase. And they're looking at me like, what's going on? I'm like, bear's right there.
And by the way, he didn't say "oh my" when he was running back. It was different words that were coming out. But yeah, that bear had circled back up and around, and it was trying to get up on the higher ground. So it actually got up on the peak of the mountain and just stood right at the precipice, and just stared at us. It literally just stared us down as we're all three looking up at it. And eventually it lost interest or didn't think we were a threat and wandered off. But that was it was a bit unnerving just knowing that, it kind of circled back and we were in kind of a vulnerable position at that point.
In absolutely zero time. Like I thought that thing was gone down the mountain, but it was more of a mountain goat than Luke, apparently.
Yeah.
He said, surprise, mother.
Yeah, exactly.
He's up there waiting for you. Man, dude, that's extremely unnerving. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I'd do in that situation. I probably would have done the exact same thing. So how long did y'all wait before y'all made y'all's next move?
No, we kept going. We left the other way.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, we went opposite directions. It was good.
Yeah, that's insane. So then after that, did y'all ever split up again, or did y'all just stay as a team the whole time?
We were holding hands
most of the time.
The rest of the day.
Yeah. Most of the time we stayed together. So we got to the other side of that saddle. We all got kind of vantage points Isaiah he took one area and was glassing with the spotting scope. Chase and I went to another spot. Chase was mostly focused on making calls, and I was just glassing with my binos. And then we just slowly started working our way down that side of the mountain, and eventually we heard something, or I should say Chase heard something.
Yeah, so we make our way down the mountain, and then we kind of working in the pines, and every 100 feet or so, we kind of just stop and bugle, stop and call, just see if we can hear any responses. I don't know if it's just my mind getting to me, or I'm pretty sure I heard something. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's keep heading this way. We're getting closer to it. It seems like it's getting louder. We get to the last point where we're calling, and Lucas was just telling me earlier, he's like, yeah, that call just sounds just like a Sitka blacktail call. Well, a Sitka blacktail ends up, a doe walks up to us about 20 yards away, 25 yards away, just kind of like, what's going on here?
Lucas says, that'd be pretty delicious to have some of that for tonight. We're headed back to camping. We're like a half mile, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Isaiah decides to grab his bow because he had a Sitka blacktail tag, and he's going to see if he can shoot a buck or whatever, because non-resident can only shoot a buck Sitka blacktail. So he splits off from us, starts walking back to camp without a GPS, not knowing again.
I made it back to camp.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to keep going down the hill, and eventually I'll make it to water.
Yeah.
And so what happened after that?
So after Isaiah left us, me and Lucas decided to go towards the elk bugle that we heard. So we kind of started following this game trail, and not even 2 to 3 minutes with splitting up, we run into this elk. I'm like, we stop, we're looking at it, and I'm like, Lucas, do you think that's a bull? I'm pretty sure it's a bull. He's like, that's a bull. Because the only thing that we could see on the game trail was the elk's main vital area, because the brush was so thick. And then the last thing that we seen was just the tip of the antlers. But compared to where the vitals were and where the tip of the antlers were, we're like, this is a nice sized bull. We don't know how big it is. We're thinking maybe it was the bull we saw on the flight before, the flight in on the day before. So we're like, okay, you think it's a bull? It's a bull. It looks like a nice one. All right, grab my rifle. He unstraps my rifle off my pack. I'm dialing down my scope. I had it set at 250 yards. I was practicing beforehand up to 400, and I was like, all right, Lucas, how far do you think it is? 100 yards? He pulls up his binos right next to, or he pulls up his rangefinder right next to me. He goes, 50 yards. I'm like, all right, I'm going to aim low then.
That is insane. And he didn't even know you were there.
No. He was kind of just
never flinched,
looking at us, or looking in our general direction.
But never took a step that whole time.
No,
really.
It was kind of just right place, right time. Horseshoe fell out of my ass right there.
So you fire the shot. What are your next thoughts?
So I fire the shot, and you can hear that contact that it hit the bull, and I instantly just started shaking. I was just like, best way I can describe it, if I had Parkinson's and I was getting into hypothermia, I was just going crazy. I'm pretty sure that made it in the video too.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was shaking.
Yeah, I was like, this is way bigger than any whitetail I shot back at home.
That's insane. So how long did you wait before you started to try to go down to it?
We probably waited around that 20 to 30 minutes, because growing up, sitting in the deer stand with Dad, he's like, if you shoot one, at least wait 20 minutes, just so it can find a spot to lay down and just die. So that's what we did, and we start walking up to it. And when we saw it laid down in the absolute thickest brush possible. We're like, me and Lucas were talking, we're like, this is gonna be interesting. So we walk up to it, we get about 10 yards away, and all of a sudden that bull's head just picks up, and all of a sudden it stands up, And I'm staring right at it, and I'm like, all right, you're big.
Really big.
Hey, you're big, but you got to go down. So he starts moving. He starts slowly walking away. So I run around all that brush. He finally makes away enough opening for me to take another shot. I take one more shot. He walks probably another 15 yards and lays down in that nice, big, mossy area where you see in the video of the pictures. And that's where it finally passed.
That's awesome. So at what point did you think this might be a record? I'm assuming it was probably Lucas that may have said the first comment.
Like at one point we're getting ready to gut it and start skinning it and everything. And I referred to it as the Parker Roosevelt elk. I said, this thing's massive. This is massive. This is a really nice elk. And I called it the Parker Roosevelt. But I don't think it really sunk in until we started seeing other people's reaction a couple of days later. When someone like Willie comes up in his bush plane, and that guy's been flying in people to do these hunts for years, right? Actually decades. So he's probably seen as many elk as anyone harvested on this island. And it was when you started, running into those folks that you realized, wow, this is something really special.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you get up to it, you do your grip and grins, you start working.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when it sets in? They're like, oh hell, we got to hike this out now.
Well, Isaiah didn't even know yet, so we still had to close that loop and get some help, because literally, like, the two of us couldn't even turn that body over. So at that point it was like, Chase, you got to go get Isaiah, get him back here. He's actually the pearl skinner on the squad here. Like, this is his deal right here, and he was gone. So Chase took off and went to get him while I started working on the elk.
Yeah, once we shot the thing, we just tried manhandling it, and we're like, we're not gonna be able to do it, just us two. We need Isaiah. And it was 5:30 at night and just getting dark in 2 hours.
Damn.
So I'm like, are you comfortable staying here with this while I go grab Isaiah? He's like, yep, but go fast. So I look on my phone.
You go and get Isaiah.
Yeah, we gotta find Isaiah. I look at my phone on Onyx, and I'm like, all right, there's camp. I'm just doing a straight shot. Just straight shot the whole time to Isaiah, and the whole time I'm hiking, I'm just yelling, Isaiah! Isaiah! Where the fuck are you?
And mind you, I had already made it back to camp to this point. I had my bow, everything like that. And I knew they went this way. And I'm like, I'm not going to go over that way if they got something going on. They're chasing something, whatever. I'm going to go that way. So I get to the spot by the lake, and I'm like, let me check my phone, because I got the satellite texting feature through iPhone. But I get over there, and I'm texting Luke like, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on? Bull down, 6x6. Knowing Luke as my uncle, he has never not messed with me. So I'm like, this son of a bitch has jokes now, huh? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're kidding. I know you are. Like, come on, give it up. And he doesn't text back. And I'm like, well, what the hell? So I'm texting Chase on his inReach. And I'm like, no answer. I'll start heading back to camp. They know where to find me there. So I'm heading back to camp, and I hear Chase's, Isaiah! Isaiah! What the hell is that? Well, to rewind back, actually, when he said we split up from 2 to 3 minutes after in that shot, so you would think somebody would hear that, because you can't make it that far in 2 to 3 minutes in that kind of terrain. Somebody thought it was a bright idea to get a silencer on their rifle. And I heard a and I'm like, what the hell was that? I don't know what that was. And then I keep on going, in there. Am I snapping sticks or something following me, or like, what's going on? I didn't even think anything of it, but I was like probably 100, 200 yards away from him.
Damn. So then he finds you. Did he find you? Are you on your way back to camp, or are you already at camp when he finds you?
I think I was just coming back into camp when Chase was coming into camp. I think we made it at the same time because where we were at, we were on kind of like a point. So he was coming from this way and I was coming from this way to the camp. And I think we finally like met up at camp. Somebody was a little crabby because they were like, we got to bull down, da 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 da. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, I guess. So they were like, yeah, we never should have split up, da 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 da. And I'm like, hey, Luke said he wanted tenderloins tonight. We were a half mile from camp, man. We did 7 miles throughout the day. And it just happens like that. So we get going. Chase can tell you our way back from there.
Yeah, well, you'd think when you find Isaiah or your buddy that came with you on a trip that he'd be excited to hear you shot a 6x6, especially you just shot an elk in general on Afognak. When I told him that, his face just went just completely like from like, what's going on to just mad. I'm like, dude, why are you mad? This is awesome. We got to get going. Lucas is out there all by himself. He's like, I'm mad because I didn't get to experience that.
Like, we put in all this time, all this work, and I leave for 20 fucking minutes.
And you don't even get to see it.
I'm like, this is complete horseshit.
But why would you split off on opening day, man? I can see like 3-4 days in. Like, okay, man, we haven't seen anything on opening day.
We have kept this between the group until now. It's coming out right now. Luke's like, give me the gun. Give me the gun. No, Luke. Because he's got the resident tag, so he can do that.
Uh-huh.
He's like, give me the gun. I'm like, no, I'll go do the bow hunts and you can have your meat, because he's not a trophy hunter. He does not care what it is, kind of thing. Like, he has got a tag for it. He's shooting it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, you guys do your thing. The elk is more important. I will go do this so then you don't blast this doe right in front of us. So there you have it right there. I saved this trip.
I mean, if that's what you got to do to justify it, I guess.
Chase, you were there. You tell him. Did that not happen?
I was pretty happy with the outcome. I don't know about you.
Russell, I gotta tell you, like, I literally, I started screening the comments on YouTube because I had to just block all the comments. Like, why did he leave? I could have just let him float through, and I could have put my own spin on this thing, but I just blocked him. I was like, I won't go there.
You should see some of the comments that I've gotten. And now the truth is coming out for everybody listening. This is what really happened. If I didn't do this, elk wouldn't be here today. I stand by that.
Isaiah's very passionate about this.
I am very passionate because the amount of hate messages I've gotten about that, it's not even funny.
It just means you gotta keep trying to, get drawn again and go get your own.
Yeah.
Plot twist. What if he goes and gets one bigger?
What kind of hunting buddy dips out on a draw hunt partway through opening day for his own over-the-counter tag with far more opportunity, especially with signing bugles? I guess he learned his lesson, missing out on the excitement. But then it's what is this one? I hope you get eaten by a grizzly next time. No grizzlies out there. Try again. Kodiak Brown.
People online are ruthless, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially to me. Not these two. They're perfect little angels.
Well, yeah, because they were there for the kill.
Bullshit.
Oh, just messing with you. So how long did it take y'all to break it down and hike it out, and how many trips did y'all have to make?
Way too many and way too long.
Yeah, it was rough. So we took off at 6:30 in the morning. We took the first load back that night, so we had to stash some of the meat up in the tree. We had to get, the skull, the cape up there, the rack, and then we headed back to camp. And I think we got to bed at around 12:30 a.m. So it was an 18-hour day, covered, I don't know how many miles, 8 miles maybe, give or take, and a lot of elevation. So it was a long day, needless
Well,
to
let's
say.
talk about that first trip back, Luke. Who did you guys
Yeah.
put in charge of navigating the way back without an inReach or GPS again? And then
Yeah,
get
so
And a dead headlamp.
and a dead headlamp. Yeah.
that headlamp wasn't the big issue at that point. But
Mhm.
if you actually watch the video to the part where they're talking at night, so if you really listen into the background feature, you could hear me say, I found a spot to cross. It's longer, but not steeper. And then I proceed to say, I'm going to go for it. I went for it, went down the ravine. They thought it was the funniest thing ever.
No, I think we're all still mad because the just the path you took us on was repeating our track at least 4 or 5 times with the same swamp or the same
No GPS. No GPS. Because where was my phone, Chase? Where was my phone?
with the elk.
I left my jacket with the elk and my phone in it. I didn't tell him until we got back to camp.
That might have been partly on me.
Yeah. That
I'd
was on
say
you
that's
there.
partly on you. But hey, you already made the trip back once before, so you had more times back and forth. So I mean, I would trust you too.
No, Chase had been that path before. That was my first time going back that way.
Yeah, that wasn't a good path.
No, it was probably my
Those are
worst
rough.
decision.
Damn, that sucks. So did y'all have any fear that a brown bear would find the meat overnight?
Well,
Yeah.
we did. The only thing that kind of worked in our favor was when we saw that brown bear up in the higher elevation. Lucas, being the resident now, he's kind of like, yeah, this is a time of year where they're starting to work their way up higher to get ready for hibernation. Like, okay. And the whole time the wind was blowing from up high to down low. If it was blowing the opposite, low to high, we probably would have had more issues than we did. But lucky enough, we didn't have any issues with bear on the kill site, on the meat, or on the cape with the rack and the skull. But it worked out pretty nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we took it we took it slow on the way back. As we closed in on it, of course, we were pretty well drawn and ready. Our navigator, he took the lead in that situation and made sure he looked after Chase and I.
They were scared. And they're like, hey, you have a gun for work, right? Like, you know guns. You can do this. And I had a personal vendetta against bears to this point.
Yeah, then me and Lucas, I had a hind quarter on my back. Lucas had a front shoulder. Isaiah had the back straps, neck meat, some rib meat, just whatever else he could just kind of fit in his pack to kind of help lighten the load. So then on our next day, that's when we hiked back up there nice and slow again, just in case if we walked upon a bear, and that's when we got the rest of the meat back to camp.
So it ended up taking y'all 2 trips to get it
Yep.
all?
Two trips, yeah.
How much meat did y'all get after it was boned out?
Sorry.
We were about 300.
Damn.
Yeah, that was after we trimmed it all up and we, really had it down to the cuts and vacuum packed. So yeah, we had a pretty good haul.
I mean,
Took us
that's
what
awesome.
though, 4 or 5 days in the Kodiak camp.
Yeah.
Just slowly cutting every little piece, and
Yeah, we put some time into it without a doubt.
So how many days did y'all spend on the island in total before Willie came and picked y'all up?
3
4.
nights. Yeah. Just 3 nights, yeah.
Hey, that's not bad at all.
No. I'll take that.
Yeah. One of my buddies, he goes back and hunts Colorado every year, and now I think it's different because they did away with non-resident over-the-counters, but he's historically done it every year, and there's been some days he doesn't get his harvest until day 27, day 28.
Mhm.
He's out there the whole time. Some days it's day 3. He takes the good with the bad, but man, I couldn't imagine being out there for almost a month in the woods chasing an animal. Like that's dedication there. But to be out there for 3-4 days, that's not bad at all.
No.
I kind of wish we would have
No.
had the experience to be out there for that full 7, 9, 10 days, whatever it was, just because
Right.
we would have had more story to tell, obviously. but
Yeah.
it kind of just worked out the way it did.
So between the physical strain and the mental strain, which one do you think is worse?
Physical.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
See, our mental strain was probably pretty good since I ended up harvesting on opening day.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it actually wasn't that bad. But once we got back to Lucas's Kodiak camp, we were definitely feeling it.
Yeah, I would say so. I bet y'all were sore as hell after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This takes us on a worse mountain.
We had the
So-
time.
Right? So now that it's all said and done and it's all over with, looking back now, what is the biggest lesson that y'all learned from the hunt?
Have a GPS.
For me, is probably definitely need to train more for it. Definitely get my body more in shape just for those longer hikes, just steep inclines, and just a heavy pack on my back. Because, like I said earlier, whitetail hunter from Minnesota, the most I got to carry to a deer stand is my cup of coffee.
Right. Man, that's awesome. So my next question, I already know the answer. Isaiah's going to say GPS. Is there anything that you would do differently if you were to go back tomorrow?
Like literally it was like dream scenario. You know what I mean? You're flying in, you spot what you're looking for. You have an opportunity to pre-scout that night. You wake up the next day. It was a long day, but we got on it and we got it. I don't know how it could have gone much better. You know, it was hard work, but it was going to be hard work no matter what if we harvested something. So I don't know how it could have gone much better. You know, it was just a dream scenario at the end of the day.
I couldn't agree with Lucas anymore.
Apart from the hunt, y'all made the video of it, obviously, and there's been a crazy amount of success on it. I think it has almost 80,000 views or something like that on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what do you want? But is there anything that you want people that are watching the video to take away from it?
Don't underestimate those mountains.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the video how extensive it is. And, you know, I'm not familiar with that region of Alaska, but, you know, just going out to Denali and to Chena and hiking Angel Rocks and stuff like that from the area that I'm from, like, it is definitely a whole different thing. You know, I hunt the Ouachita Mountains here in Arkansas, and it's night and day difference between the two. You know, people here, I mean, granted that we do have some steep elevation changes, but you know, it's typically going from, you know, 400 to 500 to maybe 1,100 feet in elevation. But it's not very steep. Now over there it's way different. And I haven't been to Afognak, but I would assume that it would probably be more than inland Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough terrain. It's tough terrain without a doubt. I think, you know, the thing that I would want people to take from it, not everywhere, not every country in the world do you have the opportunity to hunt public land like we do. And in Alaska, I mean, we have a crazy amount of public land that we get to go and explore and hunt and fish and do all these things. So I just want people to know that, hey, these opportunities are out there. We're really fortunate to have those opportunities, and any chance you get to make sure you're telling your congressmen or woman, you know, hey, do what you can to preserve these rights and keep these lands public. You should do that so that other folks have these types of opportunities. You know, that's probably the biggest thing I'd want people to take from it.
No, that's a good point. I mean, we have a lot of threats on public lands. I've done quite a few episodes recently, you know, on the podcast about public lands that are threatening to be stripped away from us as, you know, the constituents of the government that we supposedly support. So there's definitely a lot of threats on public lands out there. So that is a good message to get out for sure. I've been wanting to do an episode on the whole Ambler Road thing. Do you know anything about that?
I know a little bit about it, but I haven't dug into it a lot just because where we are, we have so many opportunities. I've never really, done it and really dug into it, but it would be a great episode if you can find someone. And if I run across someone that, you know, speaking passionately about it and knows a lot about it, I'll definitely send them your way. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. I
for sure.
appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Isaiah talked a little bit earlier about if you hear in the background this and that in the video. So I'm assuming he's watched the video. Chase, have you watched the video back yet?
Yeah, I watched it multiple times. Anytime I show family members, we're sitting down, we're watching it.
So what moment of the video hit you the hardest?
I think it was definitely when I was shaking. That's what I seen that. I kind of just all brought it right back.
What about you, Isaiah?
For me, it was probably, I don't know. I like the things that were like weren't shown. And like my favorite part of it is like I get to like when I show friends and family, like this is the trip we did. Everybody was excited about it. Like I get to be like, hey, let's pause it here. This is what happened from here to here. That was insane. Like, I don't know. That's my favorite part about it is we did like 4 days we spent up there, but we're only showing 50 minutes of the entire trip. So there's so many cool things that happened, so many cool things that I learned. Like one of the craziest things that I learned was Grassfield Marsh. It was on the first day. I'm like, holy, we've been walking through this stuff that's super, super thick. Like this is going to be a nice 150-yard walk. And Luke's like, no, we can't walk through that. You have to look for a single spruce in the middle. Otherwise, you're going to sink. And I'm like, I don't really believe it. I was up to my knee in water and I'm like, this is insane. And then we'd find one with a single spruce in it and it's completely dry. And you're like, what is, it's the craziest thing.
Why wouldn't you listen to the local in the first place? What about you, Lucas?
I think my favorite moment was probably when we were, the day after we're on the beach. We make a little fire ring. We cook some tenderloin right over the fire, and it's kind of our first opportunity to just relive the hunt. Up until that point, it was like going and getting meat and, hiking and doing all these things. But it's kind of the first opportunity to relax and really enjoy it. And whenever I see that part of the video, I just remember how much fun we had just sitting there talking, sharing the experience. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole trip.
That's awesome. One last question before we get ready to close it out. So if someone watches the video and they're like, hey, I want to go on a trip like this, what is one piece of advice each of you would give before they actually commit?
Do your research and train.
I would say don't worry as much. Like everybody's weight this, weight that. Like you got to watch your weight for all these different things. But like one of the things that like I found out is like I was trying to cut back on weight for water weight, like when we're going through. So I brought this 32-ounce water bottle as my only water source up there. You need more water than that. I wouldn't worry too much about the weight, and then find a pack that actually fits you correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be an uncomfortable time the whole time.
Like what I would say for any coastal Alaskan hunt, whether it's the Kodiak Archipelago, the Kenai Peninsula, whatever, the terrain is something you could easily underestimate going in. And you just got to be mentally prepared for some really tough going. Like when you see a mile on the topo map and you're looking at it and you're thinking, I'm going to go from here to there and then I'll go here to there. I mean, I've had that 1 mile take 6-7 hours to get through. I mean, the terrain can be really tough, and just be mentally prepared for that. Because if you're not, and you get halfway into it, it would be pretty easy to get overwhelmed and, get pretty flustered. So just be mentally prepared for some really tough sledding getting through that terrain.
Those are all some good pieces of advice. So I'm hoping somebody out there takes something from that, and I hope it helps people actually want to get out and do it, because I mean, just watching the video, I want to go so bad now. So I really appreciate y'all's time, and I appreciate y'all breaking down the hunt for us, and I appreciate y'all putting out the video in the first place. Like it was just a great watch. So I'll make sure that whenever I make the description for this, I'll put the link to the video in there. I'll put the links to y'all socials and whatever else. Listeners, everybody go give Isaiah some help for leaving the hunt. And thanks y'all listening to the end. We'll catch y'all next time.
This has been Wildlife Outdoors. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Facebook at Wildlife Outdoors and on Instagram at wild.life.outdoors. Let's go live life on the wild side.